Hey guys, how's it going out there? I came across a really wild story today. Somebody sent me. Thank you, Lisa, for sending me this story. And I wanted to share that with you guys and also some interesting stuff that I'm hearing from Australia. So Australia is ahead of us because it's their winter time. We're on opposite ends of the world. So they're actually experiencing their second wave now, and the news coming out of Australia is pretty heavy duty. I'm hearing things about people being quarantined and locked down in their apartment building, especially in places like Victoria. And there's also other areas where elected officials there are locking people completely down. So I found somebody posted a clip today. Actually, I got this off of Ben Swann's page. If you're not following him on Facebook or Twitter, I totally recommend following Ben Swann. He's a great journalist, one of my favorites. And he had shared this video. But before I share this video, I wanted to get into this really bizarre story that a friend of mine shared with me. And yeah, I can't even believe that this type of thing is happening in this day and age. And let me pull this up. So here this is. This is the thing, guys. I'm going to read you a little bit about what this actually is, okay? This is pretty wild. This is a thing, guys, okay? This is a Maine. This is a true story. I kid you not. That Maine is now requiring, or here's how it's worded. Okay, so Governor Janet Mills in Maine has said in her reopening, they're at level 3, whatever that means. It says, the front of the house staff in restaurants who choose to wear face shields. So there's that word choose, so maybe you don't have to wear a face shield. I'm not sure, I'm not in Maine. But who choose to wear a face shield must now wear them upside down so that they are attached at the collar instead of the forehead so that their breath is directed up, not down. I'm not even making this up. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to copy, I'm just going to put my show notes in here. You guys can go read about this yourself and take a look at it yourself, because this is the type of thing that's happening right now. These are the type, like, how far does it go? That is what Governor Janet Mills of Maine is saying, that restaurant staff who are in the front, meaning like wait staff and hostesses and stuff like that. I waitressed for years. I couldn't even imagine doing it in a mask. I couldn't imagine having a cone in my head. I mean, check this out. I like this. What are you talking about? What is that? What is that? This is, you can't make this up. What is that? Seriously. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the comments for you guys right now. You can go and check this out yourself and see what I'm talking about here. So here's, these are all the show notes and all the things I'm going to be talking to you guys about. But this is like just beyond crazy. Okay, this is something that anybody would ever suggest in a million years. Like, when I saw this morning, this was sent to me online, and when I looked at this morning, at first I thought, this is a joke. This is like The Onion. This is the Babylonian Bee, or whatever that satire paper is. This is a complete and utter joke. But it's not a joke. Literally, the governor of Maine has said that she wants people who are outside, up in the front, however she worded it. I'll pull that up for you right now and tell you exactly how she worded it. Where she says, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself here. Front of house staff. So what I take that to mean is front of house staff would mean wait staff, hostess. Can you imagine coming into a restaurant? Could you just picture this? You come into a restaurant and you're greeted. Do you feel like you're on a planet Earth anymore? Because I sure as heck do not. What about how could you see? Anybody have a pet? When you put this on your pet, if they've had surgery, you put these cones on your pet. because they've had surgery and the pet hates it. Actually, we lost a cat who had a cone on its head. It got out, and that was the end of the cat. The cat was no more. I don't know whatever happened to that cat. I mean, just think about how your sense of your environment, and you're carrying food, you're carrying drinks, you're serving the public with this thing. I mean, look at this, guys. This is no freaking kidding. This isn't Saturday Night Live. This is our actual life. This is in the state of Maine. The governor has just recommended that you wear a face shield upside down so that your breath goes up instead of down. I mean, I don't know whether to laugh or to cry with this particular story. Like, you can't make this up. I'm going to take one more peek at this. This is just absolutely crazy that this is the type of thing that's going on in our world today. I don't understand it. I literally thought this was a joke. I feel bad even laughing because I supported myself waiting tables when I was in college years and years ago, and it was a great living. And I appreciate the hard work that goes into restaurant service. I love restaurants. I love going to them. And when I was younger, I really enjoyed working in. It was fast, good money, tips, and I'd run around the restaurant, have heavy trays and sometimes full trays of drinks and soups, and sometimes I'd carry things with like on my wrist. It's an art form in and of itself to wait tables and do it well. Waiting tables like this, that's a type of torture. So this is Janet Mills. This is in Maine. This is out in Maine. So Janet Mills has said that you have to wear a head cone, basically, because what else would you call that but a head cone? So, what point do we say enough is enough, right? At what point? So I wanted to also share another story with you guys that came through. This came by way of Ben Swann, and if you're not familiar with Ben Swann's work, he's an independent journalist. He has done journalism on the mainstream as well. He was an anchor, gosh, I forget exactly where, but I really appreciate his work. He's a very knowledgeable guy. He's got a whole new platform that's coming up that we just invested in, so I'm really excited about that. And it's a free speech media platform. And I'll be talking about that, but not necessarily today. I just wanted to share this clip that I got from Ben Swann, just letting you know that Ben Swann is out there, and he is just releasing a brand new platform where you can find all kinds of independently produced content creators and things of that nature without the suppression of free speech, which is very exciting. So I want to share this video with you guys, and this is Australia. So just a quick thing about Australia. They're ahead of us. Like with the whole flu shot thing, I don't know if you guys realize that. I know a lot of people in the medical freedom movement are aware of this, but one of the ways they predict how our flu shot is going to work is that they look at Australia because they're ahead of us in their flu season. So right now, Australia, if we look to Australia, we could get a feel for what the second wave is going to look like, because it's not if, it's when, and that is the whole preparation for this second wave of dealing with this virus. So this is a clip from a news anchor in Australia, and I wanted to share this with you guys. So bear with me as I get it up here. I just want to make sure I got the right video for you. Hopefully it goes well. Here we go. Oh, good. He's right there. So I'm just gonna get in there and blow him up for you. Actually, let me just get him started over here. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes the screen gives me a little bit of a hard time. I can't find a play button for you. It's down there. I'll find it. Here we go. This is Australia.
Well, look, before we go any further, let me just say this. I must be living on a different planet. Everywhere I go, and I mean everywhere, the constant refrain I get is that people are sick and tired of dictatorial politicians promoting a climate of fear and alarmism over coronavirus, but they never cite the figures, which prove they're either ignorant or duplicitous. You can't have it both ways. They either can't read or they can't tell the truth. Today, Daniel Andrews seems unhappy with the decline in numbers, so he's ordered more testing in regional areas where there are no COVID cases. You get it? Looking for new numbers. Gladys Berejiklian is the high priestess of alarmism, and I know for a fact large numbers of her party and her cabinet, that is on the rare occasions they meet, are fed up with this stuff. Now, I've got these figures here. Where are they? In front of me. World Health figures, and they're clear. They're clear. I card it with me somewhere here. I've got them, and I card it with me wherever I go. There we are. World Health figures, and it tells us they're there. 6.3 million infected patients. The serious or critical around the world, front page, 64,000. The rest, 99%, unless these dumb politicians don't understand numbers, the rest are mild. In Australia, it's cost us 360 billion so far for 361 million deaths. For 361 deaths. $1 billion per life. And in all of Australia, 25 million people, 51 are critical, 43 of them in Victoria, 8 in the rest of Australia. Critical. 8. 634 in hospital in Australia. 619 in Victoria. 15 in the rest of Australia. 15, and this is a pandemic? Is there a politician with the spine to tell Australia the truth? And here they are contemplating lockdowns. More threats from Gladys Berejiklian in bars and cafes. Haven't we crushed business enough? Lockdowns. Well, if lockdowns worked, why is there a problem in Victoria? The Lancet Medical Journal, let me repeat, is an independent international medical journal dating back to 1823. A world leader in the publication of papers that have made a crucial contribution to science and human health. The Lancet recently argued, and I quote, in our analysis, full lockdowns and widespread COVID testing were not associated with reductions in the number of critical cases and overall mortality. This is political vandalism. The global death toll from coronavirus is around 750,000. It's not even the 20th deadly killer in the world. In 6 months, the death toll in Australia is 361. But the average daily death toll in this country, daily, every day, 432. Yet Melbourne is effectively under martial law, masquerading as medical law. This is public policy insanity. And mark my words, coronaphobia will kill more than the coronavirus. And on the lockdowns, let me tell you this. No lockdowns in Sweden, population 10 million, deaths 5,600. New York City, massive lockdowns, population 8 million, deaths 32,000 with 2 million fewer people than Sweden. New Jersey, population 9 million, 1 million fewer than Sweden, deaths 16,000, 3 times as many as Sweden. Massachusetts, population 6.9 million, 3 million fewer than Sweden. Coronavirus deaths, 8,300, 1.5 times that of Sweden. Yet here in Australia, we've smashed the economy, destroyed the livelihoods of good people. And what have we got to show for it? Nothing, except alarmist and hysterical politicians who seem incapable of researching for themselves and calmly presenting the electorate with the facts. Which prompts the question, are they seduced by polls? Now they're talking about coronavirus elections. Well, bring it on. There are some of us who won't tire of reminding the electorate of the catastrophe these politicians have created. The voiceless need a voice.
Okay, so that's from Australia. And let me just get back here so you guys can see me. That was a video clip from Australia that I got via Ben Swan's page, and what they're going through, because they are already in the second wave period, and they've been on a lockdown for quite a long time at this point. So just this article, which I posted in the notes, and they've been under lockdown for a while now. It's been quite a minute that Australia has been experiencing this. So the city of Victoria, the city of Melbourne, they've been under lockdown, and there was a building there where people, police were guarding them, quarantining them, and forcing them to stay indoors. I have one more video that I want to share with you guys to talk about. And this video is a clip of Michael Ryan, who is the assistant director of the WHO. This was done back in the early part of the pandemic. I found this video to be really disturbing. I thought I had downloaded it myself, but I unfortunately did not. So I'm grabbing this. This is from Tucker Carlson. Think what you may about Fox News. That's all fine and well. I'm just really sharing this clip with you to share with you what the assistant director, Michael Ryan, has said. And this is like some thoughts, not to put fear into people, but to think about what our government intends on doing. And I also just want to point out here in Connecticut, a court last Friday has said that the governor of Connecticut can quarantine you under a suspicion of reasonable, the way it's said legally, but that the governor can forcibly quarantine people. This goes back to a case that happened in 2014 during the Ebola outbreak that was in Africa. A West African family came to Connecticut, and this case was just settled, interestingly enough, because Lamont is now finding people who come in from different parts of the country that are under, higher numbers or whatever, surges, however it is you want to define that. But what I found really disturbing is that the idea, and if we continue on this path, where we could end up. So I want to play you this clip. This is a clip from Tucker Carlson tonight, showing a clip of the World Health Organization. I'm sorry, I wanted to get the clip just separate. I had it and I cannot find it, so this was the only place I could find it online. He said this back in March. So this is Michael Ryan, and I'm going to pull this up for you guys, so hopefully you can see this. Let me just get this going. Hold on a second. You might see a blank screen. No, he's already there, ready to rock and roll. Good. So I'm going to play this clip for you guys. Here we go.
Last week, Dr. Michael Ryan, he's a leader at the World Health Organization, announced that in response to the spread of this virus, authorities may have to enter people's homes and remove family members, presumably by force.
In most parts of the world, due to lockdown, most of the transmission that's actually happening in many countries now is happening in the household, at family level. In some senses, transmission has been taken off the streets and pushed back into family units. Now we need to go and look in families to find those people who may be sick and remove them and isolate them in a safe and dignified manner.
Just so you know, we're coming to your house, seizing your children, and, quote, isolating them in a safe and dignified manner, whatever that means. Now, that's not something that under
Okay, so
normal circumstances officials casually drop during briefings. It's the kind of statement that might trigger violence. People don't respond well when you threaten to take their kids. But Ryan said it like it was no big deal, and that's how the media treated it. His threat didn't make headlines in any of the major newspapers in this country. That's the kind of moment we're in. Last week, Dr.
Oops, sorry about that, guys. Okay, here we go. So the director of the WHO said that, and the WHO is now, if you haven't noticed, when you're on any type of social media platform saying that, follow the advice of the CDC and the WHO, you can't go against the WHO. So the WHO has a lot of power and clout about making policy for everybody around the world. Now, it has come to my attention, and I haven't done a very deep dive on this, but if you send your children to school in Australia, that they could go to school and may be taken away by the government and put into a quarantine situation without your permission, and not even allowed to be in your home. There is talk of this now. In fact, in Massachusetts, they're suggesting in certain areas that people wear masks in their home. This is not made up stuff. This is actually happening. I mean, when you have a situation, I have to show this picture again, the oddities of this. Okay, when you got a situation where this is now what Maine is saying. You're gonna need to wear a cone over your head. We've crossed over to the other side of sanity here. And I guess I want to leave you guys with this question. When is enough enough? What are the warning bells and signs? And this is a global issue, and I want to also leave this in your mind too. Think about technocracy and the technocrats, and think about what that means, what that is. I wish I had put this in the show notes, and I didn't because this really just popped into my head. But you can follow Technocracy News, and that is by Patrick Wood. That's Technocracy News, and the editor-in-chief of Technocracy News is Patrick Wood. He's an economist, and he talks a lot about technocracy and the technocrats, which is a global affair. It's global. When we think, and this Saturday actually is, every second Saturday is Expose Bill Gates Day. So people all over the place are doing things on Bill Gates, and I'm bringing him up in connection with technocrats because Bill Gates is a technocrat, and he stands to be the first trillionaire because of the COVID vaccine. All right, and I also want you to think about how these billionaires have made hand over fist amount of money. The top 5 billionaires is Mark Zuckerberg, what's his name? What's that Amazon guy? The Jeff Bezos, and there's some other ones. All the very wealthy, top elites, technocrats, are making out very, very well from the COVID, and this is extremely disturbing, and something that we all should be worried about. And when we look at the fact that, I'm going to show this picture again because I can't even believe it. When a governor, this is somebody who's totally out of touch with regular people, because how would you even suggest that a waiter or waitress work like this? And how would you even suggest that people go into a restaurant and allow human beings to be subjected to this kind of treatment? Having a cone over your head is humiliating. These leaders, they're out of touch. Our governor here in Connecticut, Governor Ned Lamont, is right now on vacation in Maine. And I called his office because I'm upset about his most recent executive order that he didn't even write. His lieutenant governor wrote. I'm going to be live tomorrow with Victoria Eloise, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the legality of that, because he can't really do that. He's not dead. He's not impeached. So the Governor Lamont leaving and having Susan Bysiewicz make these executive orders while he's on vacation in Maine. But he's so out of touch. He just travels with his personal chef, and maybe he flies on his personal jet. Annie Huntress Lamont, his wife, is the founder of a investment company that's worth $8 billion, Oak HCTFT. Okay, so these leaders, they don't have a clue. So they make these crazy rules and crazy laws, and they think we're stupid. They think we're saying, come on now, people, when is enough enough? What does it take for people to say, whoa, what does it take? What does it take? What does it take to say, hold up, back up the bus, stop right there, this is way over the top. So Australia is already in their second wave, and I have some friends that are down in Australia. I'm hoping I can get one of them to talk with me. I'm do a live and talk about life there. I've been seeing things come in where a friend was just reporting today that's really bad, and they've had people being kicked out of facilities for not following certain protocols and quarantines and all these kind of weird, strange things to protect people from a virus. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it over and over and over and over again, because this is just reality. Your best defense against a virus is your immune system, a healthy and robust immune system, and that responsibility is nobody else's but yours alone. If you are in a situation where you have an immunocompromised system, you might have to take more precautions, but you still can protect your immune system as well. And I know that the CDC and the WHO says that you can't do that. That's a lie. That's an absolute lie. I promise you that. No, I'm not a doctor, but I practice natural health, and I've seen it work. I've experienced it work. I've read enough things about natural health and orthomolecular therapy, which is vitamin therapy, and studies about vitamin C, and what vitamin D, studies about vitamin D and autoimmune disease, and what vitamin D does for your immune system is powerful, powerful stuff. That, there's a wellspring of information there with hardcore peer-reviewed science, if that's your speed. There's also great writers and speakers who are practitioners in the field of orthomolecular therapy. I'm just picking on that particular one because that's one of the fields I'm very interested in it. And you can find out lots of information on orthomolecular therapy yourself and about empowering your immune system. So stay safe, stay well, and fight the fight, because if not, there's our reality. How far does it have to go? When is enough enough? When is enough enough, guys? When is enough enough?